everyone, Rosabels here with my Ela-Based trust forms for CR-6, 7, and 8. As with all of my character-based trust forms, I'm running under the assumption that number 1, Ela has no module and all of her skills are at skill rank 7. As of recording this video, her skill 3 is at M1, and it's just because I naturally played the game and started giving her masteries. However, I have tested all of these with a skill rank 7 Ela, so it should still work. Number 2, I try to make all of these trust farms as accessible as possible so they won't be ultra optimized. But I'll give also alternatives to certain units if in case you don't have certain units on the roster. And number 3, feel free to comment if you need any help with any of these trust farms, and I'll try to help you guys as much as possible. Or you can ask other people for help. Starting off with CR6, which is a 3-person squad. We're going to start with Ela. Skill 3, again, rank 7 is fine. I just have her in Mastery 1. Ines skill 2, but you can replace Ines with any healing defender that's cheap to put down, like Gummy. Gummy is fine. Or you could put down someone with a healer, or Mountain. If you have Mountain, that's fine. Maybe Thorns if you have some DP cost reduction on Thorns. Again, if you don't have any of them, you can always do the get a Vanguard to get extra DP and put someone more expensive route. But basically, you just want someone to stay there and take all of the stun damage from one of the enemies. Or, just put down Ines and she could reveal invisible enemies anyway. So it's just the most practical one. And then you need your best caster, preferably someone who can do splash damage. So I'm going to be using Aya, skill 2. But feel free to use Golden Glow if you have her, Ifrit if you have her. If you don't have any of those 3, then you can also use multiple casters just to get the DPS down. That's entirely up to you and what you have in your roster. But just look at what they're going to do and then just supplement it accordingly. For the combat props, the only thing we really need is a block reinforcement device. We don't really need the second one. So just make sure you have that one with you. And that is it. I'll show you how it's done. Starting off, we're going to wait for Ines. 10. Put down Ines over here by the top block. And when you can, activate her skill. And then when you can, Ela over here facing to the left. And she'll be the main DPS of this area. Finally, your caster over here facing down. If you're using Gigi, you can also put her here facing to the side, or Ifrit over here facing down. We're going to wait for Ela's skill to be active. And then when you can, activate Ela's skill and start using the bombs to make this enemy fragile so that Ela can kill him really quickly. Supplement it with Ines if you have her. If you have Mountain, you can switch Mountain to skill 1. Skill 2. Then you deactivate the lane holding skill, whatever, so he can punch what's in front of him. Afterwards, you can stop Ela first and recharge your skill from the start so that the skill time resets. Aya is going to take care of basically all of the units that are going to be coming through here. But most importantly, you need this to reinforce this block over here. Basically, those big guys with hammers, they'll destroy the block entirely. If they don't have that extra shield, the shield gives them extra time, so they have to take multiple hits. If you don't have enough DPS and the guy over here starts moving, feel free to reinforce this block beforehand. So you're going to see it over here. This guy's going to go up here and try to smack it, but since we reinforced it, it doesn't insta get destroyed. So just keep an eye on this one and then just reinforce it every time. Feel free to reactivate Ela's skill, and if you're using Ines, feel free to just retreat her. Her sword will stay there and it will keep enemies like visible within this line, which is exactly in Ela's range. The rest is pretty much AFK, just watch them go about it. And just keep on reinforcing this if in case the HP gets too low. So you can see here, she gets revealed, the enemy gets revealed by the aura of Ines's sword. if you don't have Ines, the enemy is revealed whenever he attacks anyway. So, which is when he reaches this vertical line. That's why you just want a self-healer, because the self-healer will at least keep himself alive. Reinforce. So yeah, just make sure you have enough DPS to take care of those guys. And then just make sure you keep reinforcing this block.
This may be a little hot.
Alright, last two enemies. And that's it.
Take a breather and tally up your losses. Nothing worth celebrating here. We might be
Moving on to CR-7, this is going to be a 4-person squad. Again, Ela, skill 3. Then we're going to use Ines, skill 2. Again, you can replace her with Gummy, E1, level 60. You can replace her with Mountain. Just have skill 2 Mountain up. Or anyone who could self-heal. So like Thorns. Or even you could put down a Vanguard and then put Myrtle off on the side to provide some extra healing. That kind of thing. You just basically want someone to make the invisible enemies visible. You can also use Silver Ash and just give him a healer. So whatever permutation's up to you. Your best healing defender, I'm going to use Shu because I worked hard to get Shu. But you can use Saria or whatever healing defender you have. Basically, you just need someone to tank. And then your best caster or your best DPS unit, really. Preferably someone who can do splash damage because they crumple together. So you can use Tifon, Golden Glow, whatever you want. I'm going to be using Aya for this. As for the combat props, you can do whatever for the first one, but I suggest bring the Mind Deployer. However, for this stage, the combat props is not exactly like required. It'll just make things a bit easier, but you don't really need it. You can go about the stage without any of the combat props, but it's available to us. Let's use it, all right? Ines over here, facing right.
falling into my trap.
So basically, she's going to reveal all of the enemies for Ela. So Ela can attack all of the enemies that are going to come down here.
Don't keep me
Activate her skill to get deployment points. Ela over here, facing right. And her invisibility should be in perfect range within Ela. Wait for extra DP. And then your DPS unit up here, facing right.
careful.
So if you have Tifon, her attack should be able to hit this square. Most casters, same thing. Our last deployed has to be your defender. Because the mortars, there's going to be mortars that are coming out. And you want all of those mortars to target your defender.
Don't keep me safe.
Activate Ela skill to deal more damage. Okay. At this point, you can actually retreat Ines if you're using Ines. If you're not using Ines and you have to like use Mountain or Gummy or whatever, don't retreat them. Keep them there. Only retreat if you're using Ines, because it'll make this a bit easier. Put the bombs over here facing down just to deal extra damage and just to stun some of the enemies. It'll help them out with the crowd clearing. And then if in case you feel like Ella's about to get overwhelmed, you have these bombs to use. So just feel free to use the mines so that she kills things faster, especially when the dogs start getting overwhelming. Ines's sword does slow down enemies, but in case there's too many, like for example, more than one dog is coming out at a time, Ella can only hit things one at a time, use the bombs to slow them down.
This may be a little hot.
Right. When these big defender dudes start coming out, deactivate Ella's skill so you can refresh her bullets. It'll take them a while to come down anyway. Meanwhile, with these dogs, if ever you feel like Ella's getting overwhelmed by the dogs, for example, the timing of the bombs are off, You can use the mines to slow them down so that Ela can kill them faster. Yeah, a bit dicey. Then, when the invisible enemies start coming down again, you can reactivate her. And the rest of the stage is just waiting. So we'll just chill until then. Again, this is made with Ela at skill rank 7 in mind. The timings that I'm doing are all with skill rank 7 in mind. I currently have her in M1. If you have her in M3, obviously it will be much easier and she can probably solo that whole lane. Alright, that's it.
I'm sorry. Was I too fast for you?
Finally, we're going to CR-8, which is the boss stage. We're going to use Ela skill 2 this time because she's going to take a more supportive role. I'm pretty sure if you M3 her skill 3, she can probably solo the boss. But we're running on the assumption that you haven't done it yet. So if that's the case, then she can take the more supportive role with her skill 2 because she'll help stun lock the boss because her mind's stun. And then we'll take Ines or Silver Ash. I prefer Ines because she also generates DP and she's easy to put down. If you're going to bring Silver Ash, bring an extra Vanguard so you can generate DP fast enough to put down all of your units. If you don't have Ines or Silver Ash, because they need that Invi reveal for the boss, because the boss has like smoke bombs, which makes everyone invisible. So just bring a bunch of defenders to block all of the invisible enemies if you can. That's the suggested one. And then just up your DPS if you don't have either of these two. If you have them, then you're good. Next, Lumen, the welfare unit from Soltefera Novice. He's for free. If you don't have him, do the Soltefera Novice Intermezzi and go get him. He's really good. Skill 3, M3, so that your units won't get stun locked. So when your units are stunned, he'll make sure to unstun them. And that'll be very helpful, especially when you're dealing with the boss already. And then you need your 2 or 3 of your best DPS units. So I'm using Degenbrecher and Mlynar. I would suggest Degenbrecher because she's amazing. But if you don't have Degen, you can substitute her with Surtur, and then just bring a defender with you to like block the enemy and then do the DPS with Surtur. You can also do that with Mlynar. You can also use Jole. I believe Penance can also destroy the boss. Or whatever high DPS units you have on your roster, just look through them and then put them down. If they need support, go and give them support. So I'm going to be using Degenbrecher skill 3, Mlynar skill 3. For the combat props, you're going to need the temporary cover and the mine deployer. Both of these are going to be important for the strat. So that's it. I'll show you how it's done. Ines over here, facing the right.
I'll make you regret this.
Activate her skill as soon as there's enemies to get extra DP. And we're going to immediately put Mlynar down over here, facing to the left to start charging his attack and the skill.
The shadows are trembling.
Next, Ela over here, facing right. So Ela will provide extra DPS and support, especially crowd control when things get too much, because we don't have much block between Ines and Degenbrecher. Alright, Mlynar is charged.
I know what to do.
Yeah, I'll wait for this dude to move. Degenbrecher over here.
You can go do something else.
Don't keep me. I will sink your corpse into shadow. No one
And then finally, we're gonna put Lumen down over here, facing right, to charge a skill. The bombs over here, facing right. Basically take care of bombing this whole place so that the enemies here get stunned. If it starts getting overwhelming over here, you can use Ela. And the skill 2 allows her to do splash damage. Now, once you see the red line on the side, activate Mlynar so you can start killing the boss. Wait on Degenbrecher's skill until all 3 of the big boys are on her so that you can defeat them all in one go. Okay, now activate Degenbrecher.
Insulting yourself in the past.
There we go. She'll start recharging. And then we'll start setting this up. So put a barricade behind Lumen, and we'll put a second barricade behind Lumen. Meanwhile, go and retreat Mlynar. So this smoke bomb is very annoying. That's why you want to have someone with visibility. Activate Lumen when you can. Put another barrier behind Lumen. The reason why we want to put these barriers behind Lumen is because those invisible enemies are going to come down here and they're going to shoot at Lumen and stun him. Lumen cannot heal himself when he is stunned, and he cannot de-stun your units if he himself is stunned. So you want to prevent that, put some stuff behind him. Alright. So, activate Ela to help keep them down. And we're going to be rotating. So activate Degenbrecher as soon as you can. And then rotate with stunning. So use the bombs to stun the boss. Wait for these mines to charge up to stun the boss. Lumen will make sure that Degenbrecher is fine. You can also activate Ines for extra DPS whenever you can. And basically, you want to keep them stun locked until Degenbrecher's skill charges a second time. Should be almost there. 5 more seconds. And go. And that's it. Boss is gone. Now, when Mlynar is back up, put him over here, facing to the left. And for the rest of the stage, you can just wait them out, activate skills when you want to. But this should be more than enough. Way more than enough to handle the rest of the enemies. Activate Degen whenever you see the big dudes come out. Degen's amazing. It took me 190 pulls to get her, but you know, she's amazing. Yeah, one of the barriers already gone. I just put 2 barriers just in case because I'm very uncomfortable with just having 1 barrier because I'm always never sure if you're gonna take a long time or not. So better to be safe than sorry. Once that dude stops, Degenbrecher will pull him in so that it can be attacked by the others. Once you see the other dude come down here, activate Mlynar. And there should be 1 more guy coming up here. Again, use Degen. Use the other skills. And that should be it.
Your face just now, it seems the expression folds a bit.
And that's all of them. So, hope you have fun with the rest of the event. Hope you have fun with Ela if you managed to get Ela. And yeah, if you have any questions, put them down in the comments and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!